Hey, health and wellness coaches. Welcome to the Thriving Wellness Coaches Success Series. Today, we have with us Alysa Rushton, who is, a really wonderful lady, and she helps a lot of women to really succeed in their business. So I want to do a quick introduction of her, and then we can go on to the main topic of today's talk. So Alysa is a women's global business leader who's also known as the 6- and 7-figure Women's Voice Igniter. She is a master certified public speaking instructor and high-end sales coach who teaches heart-centered entrepreneurs how to craft, package, and promote their authentic awakened message and shine their light so they can share their unique message with the world. So how beautiful is that, right? She is also the founder and CEO of Magnetic Messengers Academy and the creator of the wildly popular programs like Get Clients with Speaking, Charge What You're Worth, and Get It, and Profitable Workshops That Rock, just to name a few. Alysa's clients and students go on to do great things like quickly make 6 and 7 figures, publish books, speak on TED Talks, become featured experts on the news, and really much, much more. Alysa will inspire you to shine your brightest light, activate your highest vibration to get your message out to the masses in an ultra authentic way, while creating amazing new income. So really go ahead, grab a paper and pen, get excited and get ready to tap into your awakened message that's really going to go ahead and change the world. So you're most welcome to the Summit and Success Series, Alysa.
Thank you so much for having me. Rukmini, I just love being here with you today.
Thank you so much, and me too. And I'm really excited about the topic that you're going to be sharing today, which is all about how to use speaking to really grow your list. So yeah, I'm really excited because, they say that the money is in the list, right? That's one of the statements you commonly hear. And I love how you brought in this concept of using speaking to really fast track the growth, to the list building.
Yeah, it's true. The money is in the list, and speaking is one of the quickest ways that is basically for free. You don't need a budget for it to build your list like wildfire. I see clients do this successfully all the time, and I just love helping people do it. And the beautiful thing is that not only you're building your list in the process, but you're also getting clients while you're doing it. So speaking is one of those things that's sort of a 1-2 punch, if you will, because it's so powerful. It builds your list and gets you clients all at the same time.
Absolutely. So yeah, you would say that, giving talks is really important to build a thriving health coaching practice, right?
Man, my background is I started out as a health coach. While it's true, my public speaking background is in corporate, I decided to take a journey from corporate and go into health coaching. And I grew my business really quickly because of speaking. And what happened for me was all my health coaching buddies started calling me up and saying, "Hey, what are you doing, Alysa, that's so different?" And I said, "Well, I'm speaking." And they said, "Yeah, but how are you doing it? Because we're speaking and we're not getting any clients from it." And one of my coaching buddies one day in 2014 said, "You've got to turn this into your real business." And so I did. But it's, speaking is when you go out and speak, people can feel your energy and they can get a sense if you're for them or if you're not for them. And it just really helps people connect with you. Plus, it does something else, which is it gets you out from behind your computer, which, let's face it, as a health coach, it's easy to hide behind the computer and do tasks that aren't necessarily client getting. So speaking is one of those things that's a direct client getting activity that just when you incorporate it into your business will totally change.
Absolutely. And, I'd shared with you in the past as well that, speaking was also one of the ways that I was able to get a lot of clients into my detox program. It can always be improved and there's always things that we can change. So I would like to ask you, especially because you've been working with coaches and improving their talks and, their skills in public speaking, what are some of the major mistakes or challenges that you see that coaches are making when giving talks, and if they fix them, then it would instantly help them to get new clients?
Oh, this is a great question. So many of you who are listening are probably thinking, well, it's what I say and how I say it. And that's actually not what I would fix right away. It's got really very little to what you say and how you say it, a talk. In fact, people will remember only about 10% of what you've told them in a week and about 1% of what you've told them, if they're lucky, in a month.
Wow.
So one of the
Very
things
little.
I know, it's like, why am I even here? And the reason is that, and this is the key thing that we fix, right? The key thing that we fix is we help them design a talk around their offer. So let me take you, for example. If you were giving a talk, you would build that talk around your detox. And then at the talk, you would invite people into your detox. You'd have a free gift that's designed to get people excited, and you would ask them to sign up for your free gift that was in direct relation to the detox. And what happens when you do this, when you have a talk that's designed to lead people to your offer, is that in a live talk, about 30% of your audience actually wants to go further with you. They actually want to sign up for the detox, or they want to work with you personally, or whatever it is that you're offering. So that's the number one thing that we fix, is building a talk that leads people someplace. Most people think they have to show up and teach people something. And that's true, you do, but usually it's off topic is what I notice when working with a lot of coaches. They're teaching something off topic. Can I share with you a quick example of something that happened for a coach?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So one of the coaches that I started working with years ago, she, like you, was selling a detox, but she was giving a talk on gardening and talking about how to do sustainable gardening and all this. And she was giving this talk about 5 times a month. And she was wondering why her health coach practice was suffering. So we started to work together in the Get Clients with Speaking program. And we changed up everything. We aligned her free gift for her detox. We aligned her talk for her detox. And within about, I think it was about 2 months, she had sold 60 spots in her detox. She was getting booked in all these different cities to come and talk about her detox. So it really does make a huge shift. And of course, then she started making money and had a sustainable business.
Exactly. And I think that's the common mistake that a lot of coaches do, including myself. I'm always thinking, I want to create a new talk that is all about, this health condition, or, teaching them about so and so, not really considering how does it tie in with my offer and, getting them to actually buy my product. It's more about, okay, give information. But as you said, if the retention is so low, it's no wonder that they don't really, come back or work with you right away or come back later, right?
Exactly. And what else happens when people do that? And by the way, I totally made all these mistakes. It's how I learned not to make them, because I came from corporate. I came from a corporate training background. I was a corporate trainer. So I was a give. I was a teach. And when we do that with the same audience over and over again, in a corporate environment, it works because I'm getting a steady paycheck and these guys they're getting paid to show up.
Exactly. It's true.
But, right, it's a beautiful thing. But in the coaching world, what I see happen is people make a different talk, give it to the same audience over and over and over again. And that is a going broke model. So instead, the shift that everybody listening right now wants to make is you want to have one great talk and just give it again and again and again to different audiences. And then you build your list, then you start getting clients. Then all of a sudden you stop the, what I call SLS syndrome. Do you know what SLS syndrome is?
No.
It's small list syndrome. And it's a horrible condition that nobody wants. And it leads to a fatal condition called NCS, which is no client syndrome, if you don't fix it.
I love those acronyms. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So I think, the point you're bringing up is so valid. Again, it is not about, how many varieties of presentations you do, but the fact that you build one good presentation that you can reuse over and over and over again, which is, created in such a way that it's all focused on the offer that you're giving to the client. So yeah, I think that's something that we all have to always think about, rather than, how much value am I giving? Yes, you have to give value, but also look at the, returns that you can, get from it, so that you can continue to give value to more people.
It's true. And the other truth is, if you show up and give a talk and people walk away and they're inspired, but they don't take action, I would question, how of service are you really being? Because I suspect that you're doing this job because you want to make an impact. You want to help people change their lives. And you well know that information doesn't change people's lives. It's coaching and accountability and support that changes people's lives. So you showing up, giving a talk all the time and not getting people to take action and go forward with you and hire you is actually not being of service. It's more just doing nothing. We have so much information. The whole goal is to get these people who are consuming so much information and turn them into action takers so that they can change their lives, so that they can transform their bodies or their digestion or their thyroid health or whatever it is that's keeping them sick and unhappy. And that's really our mission, is to turn those people who are information consumers and turn them into action takers. And we do that through how we format our talk.
Lovely. That is amazing, Alysa. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of coaches who are listening to this talk and wondering whether there's actually an exact formula that you would recommend, health coaches use when formatting their talks, so that they can start to get clients with every talk that they give.
Yes, thank you so much for asking. There is a formula, and the brilliant thing about this formula is you can use it online, you can use it live, you can use it with your Facebook lives. You can condense this formula into 10 minutes. You can expand it into 2 weeks or 2 days or 2 hours or an hour-long talk. So it's just about how much information you would include in each section, but there is this formula. Do I have time to share it?
Yeah, absolutely. Please go for it.
Okay, great. So the first piece is the powerful opening, the welcoming, the helping people feel comfortable. And we do this in a live talk by just walking up to our audience and asking them why they came. And that's the welcome. We want to make them feel really welcome. Yeah. If you're doing this in a Facebook Live, you would do something funny, like maybe you would, in my Facebook Lives, oftentimes I'll eat chocolate while I'm waiting for people to get on, and I'll just be kind of funny and eating chocolate.
Yeah.
Right? So you have a welcoming process. Then it's the powerful opening. Now, here's where a lot of coaches and speakers make a mistake, is they start off making it all about them, and they'll tell their credentials and where they went to school, and nobody wants to hear that in the audience because they don't care. It's about them. Yeah. So instead, you want to ask the audience a question about themselves. Mm-hmm. For example, you might say, how many of you have tried every diet out there on the market and are still struggling with your weight? Right? You want to ask them a question that's going to suck them in and engage them right away. And then once you get them talking and pulled in, then you go into your story. And you want to tell your story. And this is where a lot of coaches fall down too, is they either don't tell their story or they overtell their story. They either skip it completely or they're going on for 25 minutes.
Yeah, and so it's hard condensing it, sometimes, because we have such a depth of story, because, it's so personal to us and we've gone through so much. But, people probably don't need to hear, each and every step. But as long as they can hear the transformation or what made you inspired to get into this journey, it's probably enough.
Yeah, so really the secret with your story, and I break this down even further in the formula, and I think we're going to give people the handout, is you want to tell people why you're at where you are now. You want to tell them about what happens to even start you on the journey, and you want to share with them kind of where you fell apart and how you transformed it. Maybe it was you going to health coaching school. Maybe it was you having a heart attack. Maybe it was your dad having a heart attack. But you want to talk through that process, and then you tie it into why it is you're doing the work you are today. And that's the secret, is just tying it all together. And then after you get done with your story, then it's time to go into the content. And again, the content, it's so important. The content wants to be directly related to your offer. And your offer can be your private coaching program. It can be what you're doing in your private coaching. It can be a detox. It can be a program, a group program, an online program, but it's got to be tied in.
Yeah. And I think basically the point you're trying to make here is that don't give a talk for the sake of giving a talk, but be very purposeful about your intention behind what you want people to do right after the talk, and then create a talk based around that.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Absolutely. Be very clear about your intention and what you want people to do. And that brings us to the next piece, which is as you're doing your content, as you're giving your content, you want to give away a free gift. What I see a lot of coaches do is they pull out the old clipboard, and they're like, I'm going to pass around a clipboard and everybody sign up. No, don't do that. You want to hand everybody a piece of paper, and it's going to describe your free gift. It's going to describe working with you, and you're actually going to lead people through a process of signing up for your free gift. And again, your free gift is going to be something that is directly tied into helping them get a result that is related to your offer. So for example, if you were selling a detox, you might have a free gift that's the 5 biggest detox mistakes people make and how to avoid them. Or your free gift might be the 5 most delicious detox foods that you can eat on the go. Right? But it's something that's tied in and gets them excited and on your list. So whether they sign up for your detox at the talk that day or not, they're able to consume that information, and then they're on your list, and hopefully you have a follow-up marketing plan. Right.
Absolutely. I love that point of, like not just passing out a notepad or something, which is something I've been doing even now, to be very honest. And most of the times I'll notice that about like 80% of people will put their messages, but I'm still losing that 20%. So this is a really great way to, exactly show them what they get by putting their email there. You'll receive this free gift. It's an instant, for sure sign up. You know what I mean? Because they've made the effort to come and attend the talk.
Exactly. And the thing is, when you give everybody their own individual piece of paper and you're walking the whole audience through doing this all at once. Public speaking there's a secret. It's called monkey see, monkey do, or mirror neurons. And your audience literally has to do what you're doing. So if you tell them to, it's kind of a bad statement, monkey see, monkey do, but it's true. They're watching you do something and they have to do it. So what you would do is take out the paper, pretend you're writing. They're going to write down. And when people make the shift to doing it this way, what I see is about between 95 to 100% of the people at the talk on their lists. And that's a huge, that can be huge. And sometimes a lot of those people that you scoop up are your ideal clients. It's just that they weren't incentivized to become one before. And that's our job. So we want to make sure we're doing that free gift in a very powerful way. And then when we make our offer in a live talk, you don't necessarily want to make your offer at the end. So whether you're inviting people into a free coaching session, which is a great place when you're just getting started to invite people into a coaching session, or whether you're inviting people into a detox, if you do it at the end, here's what happens in a live talk. And I know this because I've watched it too many times to know otherwise. You run out of time. You don't see enough room. And you just are not able to have the space you need to powerfully invite people into that offer. And so what's really important is that you give yourself time in between your content points. I usually like to, if you have 5 content points, I tell people sandwich the free gift and the offer in between content point 4 and 5, so that after you give your free gift, after you make your offer, you can say, okay, and now let's get back to our final tip of the day and round it out that way. And then it's the wrap up where you wrap everything up and you ignite people into action and you call them forth and you say, hey, what was the most powerful thing you learned today? Will you go and start eating these foods? Will you go and sign up with a strategy session with me? Will you join my detox? Whatever it is that you're trying to get them to do, several of those points want to be not related to your offer, and one of those points wants to be directly related back to your offer. So you want to call people forth into action, because let's face it, people need to be called forth into action a little bit these days, right?
Yes, they do. They do. Yeah. And, sometimes I notice in my talks that people shy away, when I ask them, like, what's one point that you are going to go ahead and implement in your life after listening to what you've listened to. And many times people will just remain quiet. So how can you, do you have any tips in terms of how to get the people to respond back, or, respond basically?
This is an interesting one. So usually if the audience is not responding, it might be because they're in the habit of not responding. So there's a couple of things to take a look at there with the talk. Is it because they're just not in the habit of, have you not been in the habit of asking them questions all throughout the talk? Or is it because they don't know? So they might need more of a idea generation beforehand. So my question would be, did you, in the talk, did you do a review? Hey, here's what we talked about today. Here were the big key points. Here are some things you could take action on. And then what will you take action on? If you did that and they're still not talking, it's probably something else going on. You might start or choose the most friendly person and start calling on people is something else to do, right? But there's multiple reasons why that can happen in a talk.
Okay.
Does that help?
Absolutely. That really helps. So can I just recap and then you can just help me so that, because there's a lot of points that we talked about which are so valuable. So the very first thing you talked about was really good welcome, right? And then the second thing you talked about was our own intro, doing, information about us, but like keeping it very concise and to the point so that they get the idea of why, we're doing what we're doing. And the third piece was the content. The fourth piece was the free gift, I believe.
Okay, so let me just back up real quick. So the first piece is the welcome.
Yes.
The second piece is the powerful opening.
Opening.
Yeah, where you engage that audience. You don't make it about you. The third piece is where you give your story. Yeah. The fourth piece is your content. The fifth piece is your free gift. The sixth piece is your offer. And the seventh and final step is the wrap up and calling people forward into action.
Lovely. That is amazing 7 steps. And that will make sure that coaches can really start to get clients into the programs that they're offering.
Yeah. And it's amazing what happens when you just do a little work with your talk and reformulate it and then start giving that talk again and again to different people. Now, I'd love to share just one client story here. Do you mind if I do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're just here to learn from you and take on as much as we can information so that we can implement it.
Awesome. So this client, she was doing a lot of that. She was out there giving different talks all the time. And she suffered from SLS, small list syndrome. I think her list was about, I want to say 300 of her best friends and relatives.
That's a good list for a lot of beginners. Like, when I started off, I would be happy with 300.
That's right. But these people were not her ideal clients. They were not buying from her.
Right.
So technically, right?
Yeah.
So technically speaking, she didn't have a list.
Yeah.
Now, here's all she did, okay? She broke 6 figures last year. When she started working with me, she was making hardly anything. Now, all she really did was she developed a great talk and a great free gift. She started giving this talk online and off. And for her, she started doing this talk a lot online. And she would get herself booked on summits. But she would also go offline too. Now, at the end she was relentless. She was doing talks all the time. Yeah. And in about 6 months' time, she had over 3,000 people on her list. And these 3,000 people were her ideal clients. They were people who were buying from her. They were people that were paying her in full, writing her checks. She had to increase her prices, but it was all because she was getting out there and speaking. Now, I want to give you a warning. What also happened to her is now she turns down speaking requests all the time because she was out there doing it so much that people are like, hey, will you come to my next event? Hey, will you speak on my radio show? Hey, will you, be on this summit? And that's what can happen. Yeah. But if you don't want to go that big, what's nice about giving talks is, let's just say that you're like this woman I worked with who just wanted to do things part-time, and she just wanted to sell her detox. And that's all she did. And all she did was go out and give about 4 talks a month when she was doing her detox, right? So she wasn't even selling this all the time. Yeah. She would just wait until she was going to sell the detox. She would do about 4 talks, and she got consistently about 60 people into that program. Now for her, that was perfect because she's a mom of 2. She doesn't really want to work a whole lot, but she loves health coaching and she likes talking about it. Yeah. So it really depends on where you want to be, but I want you to see that you can use speaking no matter where you want to go in your business. And the brilliant part about it is it doesn't cost you any money to do. And it's not like Facebook ads. You don't flush money down the toilet. You can just show up and give a great talk. And even if you're nervous and even if you're not sure what to say, that's the piece that doesn't really matter to people. All that matters is that your talk is designed to lead people somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's amazing, Alysa. Those are some really amazing success stories of clients that you've got there.
Thank you. Yeah, they do, and they're doing the work. They're the ones out there going out and giving talks. And that's the key piece, is really doing the work to get out there, putting yourself out there consistently. Yeah. I have a client who all she really does is does Facebook Live stuff. And she consistently gets clients from Facebook Live, and she just goes on Facebook Live. She condenses the formula to about a 10-minute formula instead of a 60 minutes. But you can do the same thing, right? You would welcome people. You would ask a really powerful question to get started. You would talk a little bit about your story. You would give some content. You would invite people into a free gift or a strategy session, and then you would wrap up and call them into action. Really simple. So do you see how you can make it small or big?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's very powerful. And, once you have all these 7 steps in place, and you can just repeat and rinse and repeat, right? You've got a winning formula of just building your list and getting people to sign on to whatever offers that you are providing for them. Yeah, so that's really cool. So, so basically, I guess the advice that you're giving to health coaches, through this talk today is to just go out there and, put themselves out there, give a talk with all of these 7 steps, and start building their list and their business.
Absolutely. And when you do that, what that means for you is that, I know you became a health coach for a reason. You became a health coach to help people and to serve at a higher level and to help people transform their lives. And you can't do that when you're not helping people, And so the point of you getting out there is you're going to meet people. You're going to be able to share transformation with them. You're going to be able to help them really move forward in a powerful way. And just you showing up and being an example of what's possible is also very powerful too. So just remember that all of that though takes you putting yourself out there. It does take you getting out, taking some risks. There's nothing that's not risky about having a business. You've got to risk a little bit of just putting yourself out there. You've got to risk getting some no's. You've got to risk hearing, no, I'm sorry, we don't want anyone to speak at this event, or no, I'm sorry, we don't take speakers, in order to get to the yeses. Yeah. In my early days as a health coach, you don't know how many no's I heard before I got to the yeses of, yeah, we'd love to have you to speak. But the key is just to keep going. And again, I suspect that many of you guys are in the first couple years of your health coaching business, and speaking really is one of the best ways to build your business very quickly, build your list, start getting clients. And when you do that, then you get momentum and you can continue to serve at a higher level. And, there's a lot of great places too that you can go that will have speakers. networking groups are always looking for speakers, women's groups, moms groups, places of worship and churches are always looking for speakers. Radio shows and podcasts are always, these guys always need speakers and content. You know, it's like forever they're trying to figure out what am I going to say this week that's new and fresh. And you just might be that person. The key is reaching out.
Yeah.
The key is asking, hey, could I speak at your event? Hey, could I speak at your next workshop? Or hey, could I speak at your next meeting? And here's my topic, and here's what your audience would learn. And when you position it that way, when you position it as here's what your audience will learn, here's what they're going to walk away with, then it's very audience focused, and they can tell that you have a heart of service. And that's how you get yourself booked.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Alysa. This was so much value packed into just a short 30-minute session. But guys, if you want to start implementing everything that Alysa has taught us today and also, you know, learn a lot more from her, go ahead and check out her free gift that she's created for us called Create Your Client Getting Signature Talk. So check it out. It's chock full of information, has most of the points, and we look forward to seeing, you know, the talks that you create and come up with. So thank you so much again, Alysa, for joining us and, you know, giving us your valuable time to share this information.
Yeah, and can I say, by the way, this is a direct module from Get Clients with Speaking. So it's hours worth of content, and you're going to, if you do it, you're going to walk away with an amazing talk with all of the tools I talked about. That handout that you can give to your audience, it's totally customizable. So this is a hot gift, you guys. Make sure you check it out. It's the value is $300. It's directly from my course. So I charge people money for this, good money. So make sure you check it out and really start using talks to get out there and serve and build your business and build your list and make the impact that you know you're here to make.
Thank you so much, Alysa. This was amazing. Guys, check out the gift that she's created for us. It was really generous. And I hope you implement it and make the best out of it. Thank you once again, Alysa. It was lovely talking to you today.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you too. Take care.